If you are thinking about getting a mini pig, or if you already have one and are wondering whether the expenses are normal, this video is going to lay out every number, honestly. Some of these will be expected, some will be higher than expected. And one category that nobody ever talks about might change the way the whole equation looks. This is not meant to scare anyone out of getting a pig. It is meant to make sure the decision is based on real numbers, not marketing ones. We have already covered the myth about size and how to prepare a home. This is the third piece of that picture. The most uncomfortable one. The one that almost nobody in this space is willing to say out loud. My name is Bob, and the first vet bill I got for one of my pigs nearly made me cry. Here is what I wish someone had broken down for me before day one. The purchase price is where most people start and stop thinking about cost. A mini pig from a breeder typically runs between $300 and $3,000, depending on bloodline, location, and marketing. Some breeders charge $5,000 or more for what they call rare colors or micro lines. That price tag feels significant at the time. It is the smallest number on the entire list. The purchase price is roughly 5 to 10% of what the pig will cost in her first year. Everything that comes after is where the real math lives: food. A mini pig eats a specific diet, not dog food, not table scraps, not whatever is cheapest at the store. A proper pig diet consists of a commercial mini pig pellet as the base, supplemented with fresh vegetables and limited fruit. The pellet itself is not expensive per bag, but a bag does not last as long as people expect. Depending on the pig's size and age, monthly food costs run between $40 and $80. That is the pellet plus fresh produce. It does not include treats, which add another $10 to $20 per month if used for training. Over a year, food alone runs roughly $500 to $1,000 for a pig that people expected to eat leftovers. That number surprises almost everyone. Veterinary care is where the budget takes its biggest hit, and it is also where the least information is available before buying. A standard vet does not treat pigs. Most small animal practices are set up for dogs and cats. Pigs require a vet who specializes in or has experience with swine, and those vets are not everywhere. Finding one might mean driving an hour or more each way. In some rural areas, the closest pig-experienced vet is 2 hours away, which means a routine checkup becomes a half-day commitment before the exam even starts. The visit itself costs more than a typical dog or cat checkup. An initial exam for a new pig runs between $100 and $300 depending on the practice. Annual checkups cost roughly the same. Vaccinations add $50 to $100. And then there are the things that are not routine. Hoof trimming needs to happen every few months and costs between $50 and $150 per session. If the hooves get neglected, the pig's gait changes, which leads to joint problems, which leads to a much larger vet bill down the road. Tusk trimming for pigs that develop tusks runs about the same. Spaying or neutering, which is strongly recommended and in some areas required, costs between $300 and $800. That procedure needs to happen early, and it needs to be done by someone who has done it before on pigs specifically, because pig anatomy under anesthesia is not the same as dog anatomy. A pig that stays healthy and has no emergencies will still generate roughly $1,000 to $2,000 in vet costs per year. A pig with an emergency can double or triple that in a single visit. Here's the part that catches most owners off guard. The emergency fund. Pigs are remarkably healthy animals overall, but when something goes wrong, it tends to go wrong in ways that are expensive. An intestinal blockage from eating something she should not have. A leg injury from jumping off furniture that was too high. A skin condition that needs specialized treatment. Respiratory issues during seasonal changes. Each of these can run between $500 and $2,000 depending on the severity and the specialist involved. The challenge is that pig emergencies often require a specialist vet, which means emergency rates on top of specialist rates. And specialist emergency clinics that accept pigs are even rarer than regular pig vets. Finding one at 10 on a Saturday night is an experience that no amount of preparation fully covers, but having the money set aside at least removes the financial panic from the medical one. There is no widely available pet insurance for pigs the way there is for dogs and cats. Some policies exist, but they are limited in coverage and higher in cost. A few companies have started offering exotic pet policies that include pigs, but the deductibles tend to be high and the exclusions extensive. Setting aside a dedicated emergency fund of roughly $1,000 per year is not paranoia. It is planning. The fund sits there unused in good years. And in a bad year, it is the difference between treatment and a very difficult conversation. Damage. This is the category that nobody puts on the breeder's website. Pigs chew baseboards. They root up flooring. They open cabinets and redistribute the contents. They test furniture with their snouts, which are strong enough to lift the edge of a couch if they decide something underneath needs investigating. The linoleum in the hallway, the corner of the door frame, the garden hose, the shoes by the front door, the charging cable that was plugged in behind the nightstand. One of the girls in the herd went through a phase where she decided the kitchen baseboard was a personal project. Every evening, a little more progress. By the end of the month, roughly 4 feet of baseboard had been systematically removed and deposited behind the couch. Not eaten, relocated. As if the baseboard belonged somewhere else and she was correcting a design mistake. Over the first year, household damage from a pig ranges from minor, maybe $100 in replacements, to significant, potentially $500 to $1,000 if the pig finds the right thing to dismantle. The good news is that damage decreases over time as the pig settles and the house gets properly pig-proofed. The first year is a negotiation. The pig tests everything. The owner learns what needs protecting. By year 2, both sides have figured out the boundaries, and the damage drops to the occasional cable or shoe that was left in the wrong place at the wrong time. Supplies and maintenance, bedding, blankets, water bowls, feeding mats, gates, latches, rugs for slippery floors, replacement items for things that get chewed. None of these individually is expensive. Together, they add roughly $200 to $400 per year. This is the category that accumulates quietly. No single purchase feels significant, but at the end of the year, the total is always higher than expected. Now the number nobody talks about. Time, not as a metaphor, as a cost. A pig requires daily interaction. Daily routine, daily attention. The feeding schedule is rigid. The bonding time cannot be skipped. The vet appointments take half a day because the specialist is an hour away. The pig proofing is ongoing. The cleanup after a root fest in the living room takes 20 minutes. The floor time sitting at pig level for connection takes another 20. The training sessions, short and frequent, add up. The hoof checks, the skin checks, the weight monitoring. None of this appears on a receipt, but if that time were converted to an hourly value, it would be the largest line item on the entire list. A conservative estimate is roughly an hour and a half per day of direct pig-related activity. Some of it overlaps with time that would be spent at home anyway. Some of it does not. This is not a complaint. It is a reality check. A pig is not a low-maintenance pet. A pig is a high-engagement, high-reward, high-time investment companion. The people who thrive with pigs are the people who understood that going in. The people who struggle are the ones who expected something closer to a cat. So here is the total. The first-year cost of owning a mini pig, including purchase, food, vet care, emergency fund, damage, and supplies, falls in the range of roughly $3,000 to $7,000. After the first year, without the purchase price and with reduced damage, annual costs settle into the range of roughly $2,000 to $4,000. These numbers vary by region, by pig, and by the owner's approach to care. But the order of magnitude is consistent. A pig is a multi-$1,000 per year commitment. The thing is, here is what needs to be said alongside those numbers. The question was never whether it is expensive. It is. The question is whether it is worth it. And that answer depends entirely on what someone is looking for. A pig that patrols the house at night to make sure everyone is safe. A pig that knows the sound of a specific car pulling into the driveway and runs to the door before the engine is off. A pig that lies beside someone on the floor and extends one leg to maintain contact during her most vulnerable moments. That is what the money buys. Not a pet, a relationship. And people who understand that equation, even after seeing the real numbers, tend to answer the same way. They say, it is expensive. And then they say, she is worth it. Next video is the lighter side. Pig versus dog, a direct comparison of intelligence. Memory tests, problem solving, learning speed, stubbornness. The results were genuinely surprising, and they did not go the way most pig owners expect. That one is going to be fun. Going to